In this presentation, we will take a look at course resources related to QuickBooks Online. Practicing entering data into QuickBooks Online can be a little bit tricky because we have a few different options in terms of what resources we want to use. We may have, for example, our own company file that we can look at and look through as we consider the data input into QuickBooks Online. However, we don't really want to practice entering data into our personal file just for the point of practicing, because we want to keep our personal file with our personal company data in it. We don't really have the option of having multiple files, practice files, as we do with the desktop version, because the online version we generally have to pay per new company file, and therefore we have some limitations for how many company files or how to enter data into that company file. Here are a few resources that we can and will use as we go through the course. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. One is going to be the free resource, and that's going to be a test drive file. So if we just were to Google test drive QuickBooks Online, which we'll show in a second, then we can find a free test drive file. It doesn't have all the options for the payroll options, but it has some examples for us to just navigate through. As we just test general payroll concepts and theory, we can go to the test drive file and see how they will be populated or how they might apply into the QuickBooks software. The other option we have is a trial discount version. In other words, we can actually purchase QuickBooks Online for specifically this course. We can purchase QuickBooks Online with a trial version, oftentimes QuickBooks having a discount at least for a 30-day discount. This allowing us to enter data into a practice file directly and being able to go through a problem specifically related to the same data that we will be entering into the system. If we choose this system, we recommend waiting until we go to the practice file format when we start a new payroll problem and work through that payroll problem, and then focus in on that. Make sure you have enough time to focus in on it at that point so you can take full advantage of any kind of discount that would be available by QuickBooks, typically a 30-day type discount, so you can work through the file, get as much learning that you can from it as we work through our practice problem, entering data directly into QuickBooks Online, and then possibly not continuing with the subscription after the trial period, after typically a 30-day period. And then of course we have your data file. We may have a company data file that we're setting up for our personal data file, setting up QuickBooks, setting up payroll for our personal data file, and we can use the information that we are entering here in terms of just theory and in terms of practice problems and see how it applies to our personal data. We have good information there in that we can look and compare and contrast what we're talking about to our personal data, but of course we are limited in terms of entering new data into our personal data file because we want to make sure not to compromise our personal data file. These are going to be the options that we have to go through. We can consider each of them. We don't have to use all of them, but consider these options as we move forward through the course, and we will touch on them periodically as we do so. This is just a Google search of test drive QuickBooks Online. So if you just search for test drive QuickBooks Online, you'll find this test drive QuickBooks Online file. This is what QuickBooks currently has available for us to just basically navigate around for you to get a feel of the QuickBooks file. So we don't have all the options, and obviously if we go and enter data into this file, as we can practice, but when we leave the file and go back into it, the data that we have entered will not be saved or populated, or possibly will not. The data file will not be the same as we enter data and go back into it. But it is something that we can navigate through. We can go to the payroll item in the workers field. We can see the workers, we can see the data input and some of the payroll options. However, of course, it is limited. The other option is to go to QuickBooks and look for their trial version. So they might have some kind of 30-day trial, and that's usually a discounted period. If you want to go with this option and do this specifically for the payroll problem as opposed to the file you might have for your personal company data file, then we recommend doing this at the point in time that we start the new project, and make sure you have a point in time that you can put enough effort into that project to get the most out of it within that 30 days and just work through that data file along with the problem, and then you'll get the most out of that whatever discounted period that it is. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.